Let's talk private schools, specifically in Lubbock, Texas. Now, I did a video on public schools here in Lubbock. We have some great public schools. One of the reasons why many people do move to the Lubbock area. Also, too, we have some great private school options. So if you're wanting to put your kiddo in a private school, you don't want to mess with public school, well, then this video is for you because I'm going to talk all about private schools today. And I'm going to talk about the top 4 private schools, all ranging from Christian to Catholic to non-denominational. So whatever you're looking for, we might be able to find it here in the Lubbock area. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Lubbock, Texas, well then be sure to tap that bell and hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about all things happening in Lubbock, Texas. I get calls, texts, emails every single day. Really, I do, from people just like you looking to make their move to Lubbock, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days, 90 days, or 9 months, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, schedule a Zoom call, send me a DM, whatever is easiest for you and your family. I'd love to connect with you and help you make a smooth transition into the Lubbock area. Hey, I'm Sam Riddle, and like I mentioned, we're gonna talk about the top 4 private schools here in the Lubbock area and the overall grade as to which these 4 schools were ranked. Is it accumulation of the school's sports, the school's diversity, the school's college prep, the school's academics, teachers, and club and activities? So those 6 things will make up the overall grade as to which these schools were ranked. So I didn't just pull a school out of a hat and just think, oh, hey, this is number 4, 3, 2, and 1. You know, these were all ranked by a website that I will link at the end of this video, so that way you can go on and you can look at the specific websites that I was looking at too. And then my general overall knowledge of living personally here in Lubbock. And so I know people that have sent their kiddos to each one of these schools. I have heard reviews from each one of these schools from friends of mine, from colleagues of mine. So I also wanted to add a personal factor into that as well. I will be talking about the student to teacher ratio, the graduation rate, the average tuition for the schools, the SAT and ACT scores, and then also the rankings out of all of the schools in Texas as to where they compare on the scale. Now, I did want to add, all of these schools are phenomenal. You could not go wrong with any of these schools. You know, they are ranked for a certain reason or another, where they are ranked due to maybe sports grade or maybe a high sports score, you know, or low in diversity, but high in test scores. So maybe the diversity will bring the average score down. So depending on what you and your family are looking for, depending on where you want to send your kiddo based off of what is important to you and your values, definitely do your own research. Because one school may be better at sports than the other. Maybe sports is something that you're super, super into and you want a good private school for sports or academics or diversity. You know, so depending on what you and your family are looking for, that's what will be the best school for you and your family. So just wanted to preface that first before I get into the rankings, because honestly, the rankings, in my opinion, I'm just kind of listing them out at this point because they're all so wonderful. And to be honest, the school that I'm looking into is going to be the first one that I talk about. And so, I mean, they're all so great. I mean, I literally could probably pick one out of a hat and that's where I would send my kid to, because I really feel like each school has their own good aspects of the school and aspects that I would, in qualities that I do genuinely love about the school, that I would want my kiddo to be taught or to be around. And so I just wanted to say that real quick before you think that I'm bashing any of these schools, because I'm absolutely not. They're all wonderful, all great schools. Okay, rant over. So the 4th school that I'm going to be talking about is Trinity. So Trinity Christian School is ranked number 4. It has a little over 700 students in grades PK through 12. So there is preschool option that you can enroll your kiddo in if you just want the preschool, or you can go from preschool all the way to 12, depending on what your needs are. The average teacher to student ratio is 10-1, and the average tuition cost for the highest grade offered, which is 12th grade, is around $12,000 annually. Now, Do not quote me on these prices because this is just an average. If the prices change, take it up with the school, not me, because again, like I said, this is just what we know as of last year. Trinity has a 100% graduation rate. However, there is 94 students that go on to a 4-year university or college after high school. Trinity is ranked number 92 out of 190 schools for the best Christian public high school in Texas. Trinity is ranked 132 out of 231 schools for the best private schools from grades K through 12. Also, number 188 out of 315 schools for the best private high school in Texas. So if numbers matter to you and rankings matter to you, what do you think about those rankings? Would you send your kid based off of just rankings alone? Now let's get into test scores. Now the average SAT test scores is a 1200 out of 1600, and the average ACT scores is 26 out of 36. Now the top 5 most popular universities that the students attend after high school is Texas Tech, Abilene Christian, Baylor, UT, and A&M. Number 3, we are going to move on to Lubbock Christian School. So Lubbock Christian School is located right behind Lubbock Christian University, or LCU. And an interesting fact I wanted to point out about Lubbock Christian School, it was honored to be the most outstanding 3A private high school here in Texas out of 40 schools in their classification. So it is very highly ranked in the state of Texas in their 3A division out of the 40 high schools that they looked at, and they compared fine arts, sports, and athletics. So those are the 3 things that they looked into when making their overall decision. So it is a very highly ranked school, not only in Lubbock, but also in their division. There are currently around 500 students that attend Lubbock Christian School from grades PK through 12. The student to teacher ratio is 10-1, and the average tuition is going to be around $11,500 annually. Lubbock Christian School has a 100% graduation rate, and 100% of those students go on to attend a 4-year university or college. Now let's move on to the rankings. Lubbock Christian School was voted number 51 out of 190 schools for the best Christian high school here in Texas. They were voted number 83 out of 231 for best private schools for grades K through 12 here in Texas, and number 127 out of 315 schools for best overall private schools here in Texas. And their average test scores. So the average SAT scores is a 1080 out of 1600. ACT is a 23 out of 36. Now the top 6 universities that the kiddos go to after graduation is Texas Tech, Lubbock Christian University, Abilene Christian University, A&M, Baylor, and TCU. Moving on to number 2 here in Lubbock is Christ the King. Christ the King was voted number 2 for having the second best STEM program here in Lubbock. So if STEM is important to you and your family, let's check out Christ the King. Christ the King is actually going to be a very, very small school with less than 300 kids in total from grades pre-K to 12th grade. So again, another school they all offer that I've talked about so far, PK through 12th. The student to teacher ratio is going to be a little bit smaller, tighter niche at 7-1. And I'm not exactly sure on the average tuition of Christ the King, but based off of the average tuition on all of the private schools that I'm going to be talking about today, you can expect around $10,000 to $12,000, give or take, in that ballpark. Christ the King was voted number 21 out of 54 Catholic schools to be the best Catholic school in Texas. It was voted number 60 out of 231 for the best overall private schools, K through 12 here in Texas, and number 74 out of 329 schools for being the most diverse private schools in Texas. So if diversity is important to you, Christ the King would be one to look at. Now let's go on to SAT and ACT scores. So the average SAT score is around 1260 out of 1600, and I don't have particular data on the ACT scores. And also, since it is such a small school, really, I'm only going to talk about the top 3 universities or colleges that most of the kids go to. They have a 100% graduation rate. 100% of the kiddos go on to attend a 4-year university at either Texas Tech, Texas A&M, or Lubbock Christian University. Now, moving on to number one, the number one best ranked private school in Lubbock and number one best high school for the STEM program is All Saints Episcopal. Now, this school is going to be pretty large, just like Trinity. There is around 900 students from grades PK through 12. The student to teacher ratio is around 9-1, and 100% of the kiddos that graduate go to, 100% of the kids do graduate, but also 100% of them go on to university or college right after graduating high school. All Saints is ranked as number 19 out of 190 schools for best Christian high schools in Texas. Number 45 out of 231 for best private schools in Texas for grades K through 12. And then number 66 out of 315 for just best private schools in Texas. So now let's move on to average SAT and average ACT scores. The average SAT test scores that these students have is around 1290 out of 1600, and then ACT is 29 out of 36. So really high test score averages compared to the rest of the schools that I mentioned. So if test scores is important to you, that is one of the reasons why All Saints has scored a lot higher on the academics than some of the other schools that I have mentioned. Now, the top 7 colleges and universities that these kiddos go to after graduation is Texas Tech, UT, TCU, A&M, Vanderbilt, Rice, and Baylor. So all prestigious schools, all amazing schools. I had to list all 7 because honestly, there was an equal distribution of applications to all of these schools because honestly, their test scores are pretty high to get into a lot of these schools that require the higher test scores, UT, Vanderbilt, Rice, Baylor. So, you have some great schools. There's some great kids that come out of All Saints that go on to really prestigious 4-year universities after high school. If you have any questions about any of the schools that I listed and talked about today, definitely let me know in the comments. Like I said before, there is no particular best school in Lubbock, in my opinion. Yes, rankings do say one thing versus another, but it really depends on you as a family and what's important to y'all. I think any school that you pick is going to be the best for you and for your family. So use this as a guide. Take this with a grain of salt, of course, too. Do your own research, figure out what is best for y'all. And if you, like I said, have any questions, definitely let me know. And if we could be doing anything to serve you in the Lubbock area, we'd love to help you. And until next time, we'll see you around.